now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter. And you can check out the Mike Wagner Show on over 35 podcast platforms. Just go to your favorite podcast and check out the Mike Wagner Show. We're here with a wonderful violinist from New York City, and she's got a new song out called Cryorhythmic, and one of her songs made the Hot 100 Electro House charts. She also had a couple of songs out. She also headlined quite a few fests, and she was also featured in some events, and also play with quite a number of performers on a unique hot pink six-string instrument. We'll tell you about that. But right now, hailing live from New York City in, yes, the Big Apple, city that never sleeps, ladies and gentlemen, the premier violinist, Sarah Charness. Sarah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I hope you guys are doing okay today.
Well, we're safe. That's all I can say, and hope everybody's safe as well, too. And you've been a violinist for quite some time. You got a new song called Cryorhythmic, which we'll play in a little bit. And, of course, you also had a couple of songs. We Control Come to the Party, which came out in 2015, ranked 48th on Hot 100 Electro House charts. You also had Grip, and you also headlined quite a few fests, like the Summer Expo Music Fest in Cape Town, and also your feature with the New York Knicks, Chicago Bulls, Mercedes-Benz Runway Show. You play at Radio City Music Hall, Carnegie, JFK, and you perform with a number of people as well, Chainsmokers, Jonas Brothers, and Steve Aoki, the TSO, and more. Before we get to all that, tell us exactly how you got started.
So I started out really similar to the way a lot of people start, a string instrument, and I started really very classically. I started when I was just 4 years old, which is kind of young, but really the age that a lot of string players start their instrument. And my parents were musicians. They sort of gave me this violin and started me on some lessons at a pretty young age. And, at 4 years old, you really don't know what you like, but I sort of had I had a little bit of a knack for it just in the beginning. I mean, I don't think I was anything special at 4, but, I had a knack for it, and it flowed and it worked. And so we kind of continued on. And then that was the beginning of the journey.
That's amazing too. What was that one moment that influenced you precisely into taking up the violin? What was that one precise moment and saying, yep, I'm a violinist?
I think that moment came much later in my career. I think the moment that I sort of decided to go into music was when I realized that I could play other styles of music, that it didn't just have to be Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven. I was sort of introduced by, a guy named Mark Wood, who is, also built my instrument, built the six-string Viper. He came to my music camp, did a demonstration, and sort of showed what these instruments really could do, and it was so different from what I thought. And that was sort of that pinnacle moment of like, okay, you know what? I think I can do this because I really know how to play this instrument, and I just have to sort of, change a few things here and there along the way, and then I might really be able to make a career out of this. And that was that moment for me.
And was this like a custom designed six-string violin in hot pink?
Yeah. So you can get, Mark has been designing violins for, decades, and one of his designs is called the the Viper, and you can customize the Viper. The shape is the same for all Vipers. It's this V-shaped violin that goes around, straps around your body. And, if your viewers want to look it up, they can do so, but it's sort of hard to describe. But, then you can sort of pick how many strings you want. You can pick your color. You can pick your design. So it's very customized in that way.
I've never heard of a 6-string violin, to be honest with you, and I don't know if there's a huge difference to the typical 4-string, some difference, and everything like that. And maybe how much of a difference is there between the 4-string and the 6-string?
Well, the difference really only lies that you have 2 extra strings. You have a C and an F string. So you really get, just that lower register that you wouldn't otherwise have in a regular violin. It does widen the neck a little bit as well. So you have a little bit of extra room to get your hand around, but you really adjust quite quickly to that. It's really just this incredible ability to produce that bass sound that you otherwise wouldn't have. It
sounds amazing too. And I'm looking forward to hearing what you got as well too. And who are some of your favorite violinists growing up?
Who were some of it? Well, I always listened to Yitzhak Perlman. I always listened to Annie-Sophie Mutter. I mean, but they were really classical players. You have to understand, I made this extreme jump into non-classical playing. Growing up, that was who I listened to. But then I started, really gaining influence from other musicians, not necessarily violinists either. I started listening to more rock and roll, more bands, really listening, exploring other avenues. And I have to say, in terms of the way I play now, I'm not so influenced necessarily by other violinists, but really by other artists in general, because there really aren't so many, violinists playing rock and roll, although I have my list of people that I really love to listen to and that have influenced me, Mark being one of them. So, it's interesting how that really shifted. And it's, something I say to even some of my current students that study with me. I'm like, okay, what violinist are you listening to? But it's really hard to name, or at least was 30 years ago, 20 years ago. It was hard to name a ton of rock and roll violinists because there just weren't any.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, who are some of your favorite artists, singers, and musicians growing up? And, of course, the ones that shape and influence your sound today?
So, I listened growing up, religiously to Alanis Morissette. That was, I wouldn't say my music is anything like Alanis's, but she was a female musician. She was an extremely powerful person, both in the way that she played music and in her persona. So I grew up listening to her. I loved Madonna. She was just an absolute icon. And, today I love the music. I love what Lady Gaga's doing. So those are 3 female musicians that I think really were a huge inspiration to me growing up, as they were real powerful women in music that were sort of, riding along all of these men trying to figure out, okay, how can we make a name for ourselves and how can we do something really different?
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like, something different as well, too. And we're going to play your song, Crowd Rhythmic, in just a minute. But first, to listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking our budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with violinist Sarah Charness here on the Mike Wagner Show. Talked about her upbringing and also from New York City as well, too. Talking about some of the influences and her styles and many, many more. Right now, we have a single out that's, making the charts. We'll talk about some of her other music and her experiences playing with other groups. Right now, here's Crowd Rhythmic from Sarah Charness right here on the Mike Wagner Show. Sarah Charness with Cryo-Rhythmic here on the Mike Wagner Show. And Sarah, tell us more about that song and what inspired you to write it.
For the past 3 tracks that I had released were very collaborative. They were very, the violin was prominent, but wasn't like a main, wasn't the main feature, because I had done them with a vocalist and, a DJ. So I really wanted to create a track that featured the violin in this prominent, unique way and really could let the instrument shine and do what it did best. And that's sort of where I started writing, as I thought, okay, what would be a great way to feature this instrument? Well, none other than if it was playing Vivaldi's, Four Seasons, which is just such an iconic classical piece that we turned into something very pop rock and very, electronic, sort of pop electronic, I should say. And that was sort of where it kind of came from.
Mm-hmm. And that was a fantastic piece of work as well, too. Looking forward to more of what you have, and we'll talk about some of your work coming up as well, too. Back in 2015, you released your first track with Disco Killers. We Came to the Party, reached number 48 on the Beatport Hot 100 Electro House charts. Tell us more about that song.
Yeah, so that was a collaborative track with the Disco Killers that I did. It was really a lot of fun. There were no vocals on that one, but it was honestly, we wrote it super spur of the moment. It was really meant to just be a super party track, because that was really in 2015. That was what everybody was writing, were these sort of club party tracks. And we wrote the track quickly. It didn't take a lot of time. It sort of had like a almost folk-like melody to it from the violin. And all of a sudden, it just did really, really well. We really were quite surprised at how well it did, because it wasn't, we didn't think it was, we thought we were going to release it on our own. A small label picked it up, and it just ended up getting really, it really did well on Beatport, and did well sort of on the other platforms. So it was really kind of a surprise track. And from there, I sort of said, okay, let's keep going with this and let's write a few more.
He also teamed up with British pop singer Jem Cook along with the Disco Killers to release Grip, and tell us more about that one.
Yeah, so that was one of the next following 3 tracks that I did with them. We did Grip, we did Beautiful Life, which was the latest, and then we did a track called Writing for Our Lives, and that was sort of like a 3-track series with those particular DJs. And, Grip was, it's just a super fun song. If you listen to it, it's just one of those songs you're sitting in the car with the top down, going down the highway, no care in the world, and it's just a really, really fun track. Jem is obviously a really talented vocalist from London, and it's just sort of a carefree track, really obviously different than We Came to Party, and it's much more of a pop sound than an electronic club track.
Mm-hmm. That was fantastic, too. We'll talk about some of your headliners, who you've been featured with, where you played at and performed at. You have an extended list. I love to cover that. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with violinist Sarah Charness here on the Mike Wagner Show from New York City. We played her latest Cryo-Rhythmic, which has gotten a lot of attention. Also talked about We Come to the Party, which came out in 2015, number 48 in the Hot 100 Electro House charts. Also Grip and more. You also had toured with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and one of my favorites, continuing in 2015, you also headlined the Summer Experience Music Fest in Cape Town, South Africa, and many, many more. Tell us about what's it like performing with the TSO and your experience in Cape Town.
Yeah, so TSO was, I think, it was a brief tour. It wasn't such a long tour, but I think we were on the road for about 2 or 3 months. It was a lot of fun. It was a while ago, but it was certainly a lot of fun. It was one of my first like real tours that I had done, where I, lived on a tour bus and traveled around just like everyone else. And it was it was a lot of fun. It was really an experience. I think one of the most shocking things for me was just going to parts of the country that I really had never been to before. And I grew up in a city and I live in New York City, and so I really got to see parts of the United States that I had never seen. And of course, playing, really large venues and having to have that kind of an experience was really, really, it was really special. So, but it's interesting. Life on the road is not always what you think it's going to be. It's obviously an amazing group, but like any amazing group, it's very grueling work. You're playing a show or two a day, and that's grueling. So it's a tiring schedule, and you have to sort of just take it for what it is. But it was overall a fantastic experience.
That was amazing. And also, you've been the Summer Experience Music Fest in Cape Town. Tell us more about that. And what was it like, being in Cape Town?
Oh my gosh, well, that was an experience too. I feel like everything has been such a crazy experience. No, Cape Town was great. I mean, Cape Town is a beautiful, beautiful city. It was interesting. We rehearsed for a few days prior to that festival in Johannesburg, and I'd never been to Johannesburg before. And I was just so culture shocked when I got there, just how different it is from the United States. First of all, it's really not the safest city in the world. And I remember getting into a car and somebody said, put your purse in the back. And I said, the back seat? Why do I need to put my purse in there? No, put your purse in the trunk is what they meant.
Oh,
and I had to put my purse in the trunk because somebody could literally take your window out driving down the street if they saw you were carrying a bag. So it was just really overall like a very shocking experience. And then, of course, you leave Johannesburg and you go to Cape Town, and it's like night and day. It's totally different. Cape Town's very touristy. It's very beautiful. It's by the sea. It's gorgeous. And then we got to play this really cool music festival that was going on there. And that part was obviously amazing. That was such a treat. But South Africa it's a beautiful country. I mean, it really is a stunning country. It was just, it was really interesting. It was a cool experience. It was a summer experience.
Hey, you also got to play with the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls, and you also were in the Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, and tell us what's it like there. And are you a basketball fan by any chance? It sounds like you've been kind of attracted to playing for the Knicks and the Bulls as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love basketball. I love going to basketball games. They're always a ton of fun. They move quickly and keep my attention. That was a lot of fun. It was cool. The Knicks was especially a fun one because the Knicks City Dancers at that point were doing a lot of collaborative work. So we got to kind of create a whole routine around one of the songs that we picked, and it was very choreographed, and we put a lot of work into it. A lot of rehearsal went into it. And it was sort of their halftime show for one of the big games at Christmas time, which was really a lot of fun. And so that was really, it was just a really, really fun thing. It's on YouTube if anybody wants to look at it. It's on my YouTube page. But it was just a super fun show, and it was really cool. Madison Square Garden is such an iconic arena, and so many people have played there. It's cool to be in such a big space that's just, got so much amazing energy. And the Bulls was the same thing. It's just such a crazy experience. So it was overall, it was, really an amazing time. And, basketball games are so much fun in general. The audiences are so into whatever you're doing. You could kind of go out there and do whatever you want. They think it's fabulous. So, in that respect, it's sort of low pressure in that way.
Mm-hmm. It sounds fantastic as well, too. You play at Radio City Music Hall, Carnegie, JFK, and more. And I have to say this. What is your favorite venue to play?
What is my favorite venue? I don't know that I necessarily have a favorite venue. I would say I have had my favorite performances, some of which are, as small as doing something in somebody's living room, which I think are, just extremely special. So I wouldn't say, the bigger is not better. Certainly think that, there are some really cool venues that I've done, there's Massey Hall in Toronto, which is such an old theater, and everybody's played in that. It's really cool because when you go back in Massey Hall, you see all the signatures of every single band that's been there, and it's all of your favorite bands or all of your favorite artists, with their signatures up in the green room. So I definitely have my, have had some really cool venues to play, but I think, bigger is not better. It's, you can have incredibly cool experiences with performances that are really small and intimate.
And besides playing in New York, what's been your most favorite city to play in?
Favorite city to play? Probably I played in Prague, and that was an extremely cool experience. I played at the Prague Opera House, and Prague is it's so gorgeous. That's stunning on every level. So I think Prague was definitely really special.
Yeah, it sounds like it too. And also, you also play with the Chainsmokers, Jonas Brothers, and also open for Steve Aoki, Diana Ross, Florida, and more. And tell us about those guys, and who is your favorite to play with?
Well, I mean, I would say, I opened for Steve Aoki, I should say. It was a crazy performance. Because it was in this, I don't even know what to describe. It was almost like a garage that was a giant shed. And it was this crazy party that we did. And I opened for him, and I remember the stage was I think I actually, do you know what it was? Is that he went on and I played, it didn't open, I closed. He went on and I played right after. And one of the things that was so funny about that particular experience was that part of his show was that he would throw cake into the audience. That's just part of what he does. He throws giant cakes at the audience, and icing is all over the stage. And so the stage was so slippery when I got on, because they didn't wipe it down after he left. They just were okay, it was just garage party. I mean, what? Who's wiping down the stage? So I remember I'm in these high heels. I'm oh my God, don't fall. Don't fall, don't fall, because there's literally icing all over the stage. So it was just one of those crazy experiences. And then lo and behold, we're in this garage. We're in Danbury, Connecticut, of all places. And so I have to drive back to the city afterwards. So I'm in the car. My husband's with me. Of course, I didn't, drink. I was performing. And so it's my job to drive home. My husband's you're taking me out to Danbury. I'm having a beer. So my husband's with me in the car, and it's pouring rain out.
Oh my goodness.
And we get pulled over by the police, and the police think I've, had a few too many, because I'm driving I'm a New Yorker. We don't drive a lot. So I'm driving completely off the road, blah, blah, blah. And they pull me over. They're like, "Man, are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I can't see." And they look at my husband. They're like, "Can he see?" And I said, no, he's drinking. He's been drinking. He's drunk. I can't see. And they're it was just the most hilarious experience. So that's my Steve Aoki story. Is not only did I almost fall on stage, but I was pulled over that night. Totally. Anyway, we got home okay. Everybody was fine. No ticket. Just a warning.
And of course, a lot of cake as well too. Have your cake, you need it too.
Exactly.
And of course, it makes me think too. It's what was your favorite frosting when it came to the cake? It's I'm kind of going for chocolate right now. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he decided the cake was going to be that signature part of his show, but it is. If you've ever seen Steve Aoki live, I don't know how many people have, but I think that's a regular thing that he does.
Throw cake. Unbelievable.
He throws whole cakes into the audience. It's very funny.
I'm sure he and Marie Antoinette would have gotten along very nicely, I have to say. And of course, I was going to mention Diana Ross. She's an icon when it comes to music. And what's it like opening for her?
That was also an experience. What was so shocking. So we played very briefly before everybody was playing, not for such a long period of time, because it was the opening of the Dallas Cowboys stadium. So it was really a party for all of the people at the Dallas Cowboys. And so it was not it wasn't a full concert or anything. So we played very briefly. What was so surprising about her, it was just, how many outfit changes she had. She must have brought, she didn't sing that many songs. She must have had 10 costume changes for I don't know, 4 songs.
Really?
So she would change. She would have something elaborate underneath an outfit, and then there'd be another change. Her costuming is just so elaborate. But it was, of course, a lot of fun, because she's, again, such a huge icon. So to be able to stand, 3 feet away from her and listen to her sing is really just so special, and really, it was really special. I was really just starstruck, if I have to say, because she really is amazing. She really has an incredible powerhouse voice.
Mm-hmm. That is amazing as well too. And we have a couple of minutes with violinist Sarah Charness here on the Mike Wagner Show. We'd love to have it back on sometime in 2020. You've been fantastic. And who's been the biggest influence in your career?
Oh, so hard. I would say there's so many people that have been influenced. It's really hard for me to name one person that has been the biggest influence. I would say I would say a genre has been the biggest influence in my career, which was like the rise of electronic pop was what influenced my career to go in the direction that it did. And so instead of labeling it a person, I'm going to label it a genre that really influenced me. And that really happened in really around 2000. I would say 2009, 2010, that was really the rise. And that was when I really started getting into this into all of these electronic tracks that really sort of took me to the next level. And it was that genre that really changed my perspective in my career.
That is amazing. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
Keep at it. This is not, nobody claims success overnight. At least very few people do. I think it takes a really long time. I think it's milestones and stepping stones and things like that. And I think it's not an overnight. There's no such thing as an overnight success, even though you think that there are these overnight successes. These are people that probably have been working really, really hard for long periods of time. And I think you just have to be patient and persevere and know that it may not happen right away.
Mm-hmm. And what are your upcoming plans for 2020 in terms of new music?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was supposed to release a ton of new music coming up, but I haven't even been able to get into a studio since everything started to go sour a few weeks ago. So TBD, I'm really, like everybody else in this country, I'm sort of sitting here with bated breath, waiting to see what happens next and waiting to see, where things go in terms of, the COVID crisis that we're in. But I would say, my first thing is to stay safe, stay inside, do what everybody else is doing. Hopefully I will be able to get back in with my producers in my studio and get in there soon to make some music, because that was the plan, was to start it on some new music right about now. So I hope that we can continue to do that down the road. That's
fantastic. Looking forward to having what you got as well, too. Once again, violinist Sarah Charness from New York City and the Mike Wagner Show. Sarah, thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike.
And before we go, not yet, by the way, hold on to your 6-string hot pink violin. What's your upcoming projects? What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or listen to your music?
Sure. So all of my music is on Spotify. My latest track, Cryorhythmic, also has a pretty cool music video that we just released. So you can look it up, Cryorhythmic, on YouTube. And I'm on Instagram at Sarah Pink Violin. My website is www.sarahcharness.com. Twitter, sarahcharness.com as well. And Facebook, same thing. Facebook, at Sarah Charness. Twitter at Sarah Charness. Sorry about that. So you can pretty much find me that way. And all of my music is on Spotify, Amazon, all of the streaming platforms, and also on Apple.
Fantastic, Sarah. Just want to say again, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to hearing you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. We'd love you to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond.
Absolutely, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.